Hello, everyone, and welcome to, I was going to say another episode of Ramped Up. This is not Ramped Up. We were just watching Ramped Up to another Disability in Fiction workshop. I'm sure most of you know what's going on, but if not, I will give you a bit of a rundown. If my computer decides it's okay to let me. There we go. Disabilities are amongst the most misrepresented and misunderstood minorities of the media, which lead to real-world stereotypes and discrimination, which is why this workshop exists. We want to help stop that and, have better representation in the media. The way we do that is by workshopping disabled characters and storylines and giving feedback, essentially. We welcome all kinds of questions, so things can get quite heavy or quite personal sometimes. If you want your script read, then please give feedback. We want this to be a community and a collection of people helping each other rather than just people taking whatever they want. And, we want people to give as well as receive. We're all here to learn and improve and be respectful to everyone. For the purposes of this workshop, there are 5 types of disabilities: physical, intellectual, sensory, and attendance disabilities, and mental health. All of them are equally welcome. This is disability in fiction. We also have our disability in screenwriting workshops. So in this workshop, we tend to focus more on novel writing, although all other forms of media are welcome. And in our other workshop, screenwriting is our main focus. We alternate between the two each week on Saturdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. British. Why I didn't read them in order, I will never work out. We're going to look at disabled characters in your story, sharing disabled experiences that might help to make your characters more realistic. So we tend to have about 50% of members who come here are disabled. We'll review disabled characters in existing media, particularly novels and short stories, but also in comics, audio dramas, screenplays, fan fictions, and any other form of media, and perform sensitivity readings. Next week is disability in screenwriting, which, as I say, is focused on screenwriting, and we'll look at characters in existing TV and film. In both servers, in both WordCamp and ScriptCamp, we have the disability feedback channel, which is for all of us to be able to post our work in if it contains a disabled character or if it was written by a disabled person. 5 coins will be awarded to the winner of any writing prompts that we do, as chosen by me and or Willow. Just to finish off with our disclaimer, this is a safe space for us to talk about all aspects of disability, which means that we are open to discussing sensitive and potentially triggering topics, including but not limited to mental health, addiction, trauma, and abuse. You're welcome to leave at any point if things get too heavy for you. Your mental health and emotional well-being always take priority over your attendance. So, having said all of that, let's open up the floor and see if anyone has anything they would like help with. There's a couple of people typing in the chat. If not, maybe we will go down the list and ask each person what they're working on. Grace says, I've been thinking of making a real world TV pilot as opposed to fantasy or goofy, realish world things. And we've got an autistic character. Cool. So I know that Gray writes a lot of animation and fantasy stuff. Gray leads the animation writers group on Mondays. Mondays in America. Early Tuesday morning for me, I think. And Gray would like to make their character pretty gender non-conforming. Animation group is Mondays at 6 PST. Okay. So yeah, go and join that if you're writing anything animation. Is there anything in particular that you'd like to help with your autistic character, or maybe a script or something like that? Yeah, so I was going to point that out. Being gender non-conforming is quite I was going to say synonymous, not quite synonymous, but it is quite frequent with autistic people. There's a sort of disconnect between them and their gender. Um, Shadow Striker, I think Gray was saying that it's more non-binary. Gray says, I'm autistic and I've got a weird relationship with gender. So yeah, it's quite a common theme. So Gray says she's still a girl, but she prefers can never say the word, androgynous presentation. Okay. It's not like straight up non-binary, but more of a quote unquote tomboy. Is that what you're thinking? Comfort over style when I ask. Okay, so yeah, any thoughts that people have on this?
That is literally me. Autistic, weird relationship with gender, like straight up. If you ask me here and now, what's your gender? Like, what's my gender? I don't have an answer for that. My gender is yes. Probably there somewhere, but like when I find out, I'll let you know. And I never knew that it is a symptom of autism.
It's not a symptom, just a lot of
Well,
autistic
associated
people.
with autism
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. There's definite correlation. That's what I'm looking for.
We have a brother that's kind of the opposite of what you're doing. He likes the femboy part of things.
Is that an
And
autistic
he's
character as well?
autistic. Yeah, my brother is autistic and he's like in the femboy side
Right.
of my family is really like closed with these things, so he only tells me those stuff, that he likes that type of fashion and all that. So he hides it a lot. But he's talked to me about how he feels about those things. So I kind of have a grasp on those stuff. In at least from the boy, from a male point of view, being more androgynous to the female point of, like, clothing and all that.
In the comments, there's a discussion about hair length specifically. This is something that I struggle with very much because, on the one hand, I want long, flowy locks that I can braid. I also stim by braiding, so that's kind of an association. But I also want a cute little short pixie haircut, and I can't have both. I literally cannot have both. I tried.
Question. Have you thought about wigs?
Yes, I have.
I
But
struggle
I
with
don't
that.
know how to care for one.
I get that. I'm the same way. I hate long hair in like the summer because it feels hot and heavy, but also, I don't care for the time or upkeep, some of those shorter hairstyles have.
Yeah, and my hair is also curly, so if I go pixie cut, I look like a sheep.
Sorry, we're going to move back to Gray's character. I feel like we forgot. We went a bit off topic.
I mean, I was thinking that you can draw inspiration from life, and you have literal people that have these exact feelings that you
Yeah,
want to give
exactly.
that character. So, I am sorry, I was
No
was
worries at all.
on topic.
That's okay. But I think the question is more, I don't know. Oh yeah, are there any pitfalls, sort of things to avoid when writing a character like that?
They don't write it like I woke up on Monday and I was a girl. I woke up on Tuesday and I felt like short, and Hawaiian shirts. It's not like that. It's kind of different for everybody, but that's something I'd avoid. Like the gender fluidity of the thing is there definitely, but it's more of a point of frustration than anything else.
Question. Sorry, can you guys hear me? Or am I
Yes.
too low?
Yeah, we hear
Okay.
you.
Yeah, so I actually don't know too much about experience in that, like how it feels, I guess. Do you guys have any like books or anything that you guys like to reference other than, like obviously I could Wikipedia it or something, but preferably like a first-hand account or something. Because yeah, now that I think of it, I don't know what a gender fluid experience kind of feels like or looks like. That was the topic you guys are covering, right? And you flip
Yes.
flop. Okay. Okay, cool. Grace looking up something.
Um, be tricky to ask. Grade, do you want them to be more non-binary? So more gender non-conforming. Can you explain a bit about what the difference is? Because I thought we were near enough the same thing. Maybe have her and an actual non-binary friend. Okay. I thought it was just.
Sorry.
I was going to say I thought it was just different labels. I didn't think there was an actual difference.
I mean, there is and isn't. It's like when you say you're bisexual or pansexual. Different people feel different things about these specific two things, and it's like pick one for yourself kind of deal. At least for me, anyway.
Yeah.
And with
I thought it was that too.
non-binary versus gender non-conforming, I have the most autistic reason why I chose to be gender non-conforming over non-binary as a label for myself, and that's because I hate the color. That's my only reason.
It's because you hate what? Sorry.
The color yellow.
Oh.
And there's yellow in the non-binary flag, and the gender non-conforming is purple, green, and white.
Oh, that's what that flag is. I couldn't remember what it meant.
Hold on. Yellow's my favorite color. What is wrong with
Keep
this?
it. You can keep it. All the yellow things are now being shipped to you from me. I don't
mean-
want it around me. You can have it.
Things like bananas, gold.
No. Golden is a different color from yellow. The one in the background of your picture is the specific color that I don't like. But it's not like I'm gonna hate you now because you're a yellow on the background. Like, I'm not that petty.
No. Just adjusting.
Okay, so I didn't know that. I don't know why I never thought that a femboy is like a GNC. It makes sense though.
GNC.
Gender non-conforming.
Oh, okay. Oh. Yes.
And if you guys are able to use like voice chat, because it's easier rather than reading out everything in the text chat. And I often lose track of things that happen in chat. I forget to look.
I was saying to Gray, if you also have like a non-binary character, I could ask a friend that's coming here today. If you have any questions, they are non-binary. So
Cool. So
if it's
what do you?
useful, just send me a DM with the questions you have for them.
Yeah. So just, I mean, you can ask it here as well. Any questions that people have, or that you have
Yeah,
for non-binary people.
I can write them down so I can ask them.
And Ray, tomorrow is should be a workshop for writers of LGBTQ characters. I'm not sure if it's not in. Yeah, it's in Script Camp, but still, I go there and it's good pointers.
Yeah, that's a good point. Queer Writers Group is on Sundays, I think. Oh yeah, it is. I couldn't see it for a second.
And a very helpful non-binary person whose name or tag slips my mind because
Christopher.
no, not Christopher. I think it's Lee.
Oh, Lee. Okay. I've never actually been, so I don't know who leads it normally.
Christopher leads it, but Lee is the non-binary person I was talking about. They are very open about their things, and you can ask them all the questions.
Yeah, cool.
Respectfully, but still.
Yes. Alright, hopefully some of that helped. Great. Oh, I'm going to read this comment. From Bitterbun. I don't know if this can help, but I personally think however you want to be is valid. I am personally a very manly girl. I hate jewelry and makeup is complicated to me. But I love dresses the same way I love pants and overalls and suits. I also love a lot of quote manly stuff. Same way my fiance loves a lot of feminine stuff. And I still loved him as long as you are happy. Whatever you want to wear, act, hairstyle, colour, everything is valid. Cool. And now I see the bit that says you don't have to read it. Cool. Hopefully that helps, Gray. Let's open up the floor again to anyone who has any questions regarding disability. I feel that was a very queer thing rather than a disability thing, but that's okay. I don't mind. Yeah, show ahead. Go ahead, Shadow Striker. So Shadow Striker says, disability is obviously something you can struggle with all your life. Would it cheapen the disability to have a tool or some sort of workaround for it? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. If you mean like Avatar The Last Airbender, Toph has is blind, but she has a superpower that kind of makes her not blind in a way. Is that what you mean? Okay, so like a blind person with goggles that's like wirelessly sort of connected, and maybe in a sort of sci-fi or fantasy way, and allows them to see. Does it cheapen the representation? What do you think? Shall we, anyone's welcome to come in and give their opinions. Gray says it's like an accommodation, which is a part of life.
Yeah, because they're prosthetics, but that doesn't mean that the person is completely rehabilitated from their disability and other things that could help, but that doesn't like deny their disability. And when it comes to mental disabilities, it's also like you could use a pill, but the pill doesn't take it away. It just like numbs the effects of the disability a bit more than what they would be when you're not with the pill. At least I have that experience, and it still exists. I know it's still there, but even though I know it's much better than without me taking my pills. So in the end, it's not cheaper. It is a way like humans have evolved to like try and accommodate people with disabilities in a way so that they can exist normally. So it's not cheapening it, none at all.
Thank you, Vichikita. I think what I would say is it would depend on how much it does. So, for example, there's prosthetics that we use, but none of them are, what's the word I'm looking for? None of them are perfect. None of them completely make you not have a disability anymore, or completely remove the effects. Whereas this sounds like it's more of a some sort of sci-fi magical thing, which often will completely negate the disability. And I would say that that's probably negative. What do people think about that? Do you think that having a magical device that completely cures it or cures the effects is positive or negative representation?
So it depends, and I'm going to go on this big old spiel here, warn you. It really depends on the device. In reality, people with disabilities use tons of tools, whatever tools they can get, but none of them negate their disability, and they all have disadvantages. So let's say if someone has difficulty with walking, they can use a wheelchair, but a wheelchair can't go upstairs. And is absolutely terrible in things like gravel and mud. So any kind of a device has difficulties. Take something like a hearing aid, which is great for helping the deaf hear. But a major disadvantage is a hearing aid can't necessarily detect what you want to hear. It can't filter out. So let's say if you're at a restaurant, rather than it just focusing on the group that you're in so you can better hear the group, it will make the voices of the surrounding tables all be the exact same voice as the people you are sitting with. So it's difficult to differentiate. And something you mentioned about the blindness, like a device. I believe so. Geordie LaForge in Star Trek: The Next Generation, it actually showed what he saw through his visor, and it didn't get rid of his blindness. He more or less saw things differently. Like he more saw maybe the electrical impulses of the people around him, or more of an aura of things. He did not actually have vision. So whatever device you have or you create, there should be inherent disadvantages that go with it. Okay, my spiel is done.
May I? When the question was first posed, my first initial thought was to a Czech movie. We get new Christmas movies every year here, and this one in particular featured a princess, I think, or maybe she was just a girl, but she was mute. She couldn't speak. And the prince, that was the hero of the story, not only married her, but he also magicked her voice back, basically. And my problem with that story was that she was perfectly happy not speaking. Nobody asked her if she wants the ability to speak. He just swooped down like the frickin' hero of the hour and just snapped his fingers, bippity boppity, you can talk now. I mean, I get it that she can choose not to talk, but like I feel like sometimes in these kinds of media, nobody asks the disabled person how their quality of life is and how they feel about being quote unquote cured. They just do it because they assume that the disabled guy is unhappy. My tangent is
Yeah, I fully agree with you, Eden. Yes.
Bitterbun asks, why is the Daredevil and other media like that considered bad representation?
Oh, are you opening the floor, or are you
Oh
asking?
yes, I was opening the floor, and it was just silent. I think we discussed this before, but I'll open it anyway. Open the floor. Why is Daredevil considered bad representation? I haven't seen Daredevil either.
Okay, I have seen Daredevil, and I liked Daredevil very much, but I also recognize the problems inherent with it. All right, so first of all, it does portray disability as a superhero. It is true that when you lose a sense, your other senses will become greater or more a bit stronger, but not.
I'm going to interrupt you very quickly there. That's something that someone else used to. Oh no, that's something that I used to believe as well. And apparently they're not greater. They are just more. They use it more rather than it's increased. The actual sense doesn't increase. But go on.
That
like
is
you
an
pay more attention to it because
exactly.
you need it more.
Yeah, exactly. The sense isn't. The hearing sense isn't greater. You just use hearing as your main sense.
So yes, that is a much better way of pointing it out. And another of the issues is, well, hearing like that is not realistic. I do believe I have heard that the echolocation can be a real thing for blind people, but it is rare. But the point is, there's no way you could do it to be able to fight or to be able to that it negates the actual disability. There is absolutely nothing that negates the disability to, I don't know, someone finish my thoughts.
There is no way to cancel disability by heightening one of the senses to the point where hearing becomes sight, is what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Okay.
So, right, he can't see color or shape, but he can see shape. Because how does he know the difference between someone's hand and a knife to be able to swat it away or to dodge someone's kick or something? It does not portray a realistic experience of being blind. It is fantastical and it is fictional, and it has created, even though we know that this is fictional. Even though we know it's just a superpower, blind people aren't really like this, it still kind of gets into our subconscious, and where we can't tell reality from fiction. So as Joe pointed out, my wording was bad, and it is because of shows like that. The wording about enhanced senses, that it is because of shows like that. It is ingrained in our psyche that now has to be unlearned. Oh, would you say that representing disability in fantasy would be wrong? No, I am not saying that actually representing disability in fantasy is great. It is awesome. But the fantasy should not negate the disability. Otherwise, they're no longer disabled. And that's not how life works. Now you can add. Joel, do we have the flying wheelchair picture? What is it? Oh, here it is. I found it. I found it.
As in from Avatar, yeah.
So here is a way that you can use fantasy and use disability together. He is still disabled, he is still in a wheelchair, and he is flying through the air. So this is good representation.
Can I just run something by you, since some of you are actually disabled physically and I am not? So I think it was genius, but I don't know. I just would like to know what you guys think. I was in a creative writing class in college, and the professor, she was straight up top notch. She taught me so much. And at one point, she told us that we should write a disabled character that is either missing sight or hearing or unable to walk or something. And she told us to do a little bit of I'm going to call it method acting, to just spend a day in their shoes, like put a blindfold on and try to live like that, plug your ears and try to live like that, that kind of thing. And um, I spent a day wearing earplugs, and by the end of like 4 hours in, I started getting hallucinations. I was typing on my computer and I could hear in my head the tippity tappity, even though it was absolutely impossible. But it gave me perspective. Like, if I did lose my hearing, that would probably be what's going to happen to me. I'm going to hallucinate the sounds.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that.
So
I think that's a cool
can
technique to use. Go ahead, Brisbane.
can I, sorry. So I had a friend that her whole family was deaf. Like her mom, her dad, and two of her brothers and sisters were deaf. So her dad lost the hearing at the age of 7 because of ear infection. Meanwhile, the mom was born deaf. That therefore why some of her brothers and sisters were deaf as well. It was a genetic thing. But in the case of her father, she explained to me that he is capable of speaking some words or remembering the sounds or certain things because he heard them before he became disabled. So there are moments where he's capable of saying certain words or expressing certain things because he still remembers how to speak those kind of words, and he still remembers how those kind of things sound. However, the downside is that the few sounds that he remembers, that is going to be the sound that he associates with certain devices, whether or not they have that sound anymore. So, for example, when she explained it to me that he told her that when he hears, when he feels a sorry, my bad, when he feels a telephone or a cell phone vibrating in his head, the cell phone sounds like if it was like an old phone from those that they used to have in our parents or grandparents' house. They were connected with a wire, and will have like the typical old ringing from the phone. So for him, all the phones sound like that. When he feels the vibration, or when he see a phone vibrate. So yeah, more what is similar to what you experience, but for the person who has lost the hearing, it's more of the what they remember, certain things, how they sound.
Oh, thanks for sharing, Ritterban. I'm gonna go back in the chat because a few things were said. Grace says, in some show, but I won't spoil for anyone, a minor but recurring character suffers a spinal injury and can no longer walk. Sometime later, about half a season, I think, his sister, a less minor character, uses dark magic to spend some of her life force to heal him. This is bad representation, isn't it? What do people think?
So I know the show that she's talking about, and the episode, and yeah, I was actually really sad. But on the other hand, it's still good representation, I would say. Because it is a cure. The disability is cured. But something that is actually true to life is it's not always the let's say family members of disabled people can go to extreme lengths to try to quote unquote fix their loved ones. And it was more of his sister's obsession with fixing him than anything on his part. He did not get a voice. It is absolutely portrayed as a bad thing. So in that way, I would say maybe it is kind of good representation of the desperation of family members trying to fix what they see as a problem, but it is still very much a cure. Curing someone.
I think what Rainbow said before about like the thief girl who they didn't like, the person who cured her didn't even ask what she wanted. I think that's something very like I said in the chat, you open my eyes, because like that's like the most simple solution, like just asking like the character whether they want or not to be cured. This kind of reminded me of I don't know if you guys have seen Tinkerbell movie about the winged secret. That movie has a disabled character, which is a fairy who has lost his wing and is unable to fly. So he uses other methods like flying on an owl to be able to transport himself differently from. Yeah, I think that was great representation. But what like annoyed me at the end, it was that when Tinkerbell lost her wing into somewhat similar way to the other guy, Like they just like kind of fix it out of nowhere without asking her or without even trying. It was just like, and then it like invalidated the whole experience and the whole the whole disabled character, which it kind of pissed me off, and it pissed me off when I learned that they removed from the script a part where the disabled character goes to Tinkerbell, and he tells her that he's going to teach her um how to live with the disability, and then like suddenly gets cured. I guess at least they have a little bit of a decency by removing that part from the script. But yeah, I think the best way to approach like a magical cure to fantasy it's by asking. I do have a similar question, but I don't know if I should for the queer writers workshop. I'll go mute it.
All right. Shadow Striker says, going back to Gray's character, that could be a difficulty. The struggle of a family member trying to help them to fit in, but actually harm them by pressuring them to conform to society's idea of femininity. I like that. I like that idea.
My brain keeps circling back to that and with an E quote where that one that I posted, I think before this whole thing started, about, feeling defective all your life. But basically, what I'm coming to is the rest of the world keeps saying that you're defective. You have to like think for yourself first and foremost. And we, as able bodied people, assume that everybody who is somehow disabled is just poor, unfortunate soul who can't get up the stairs by themselves. And we don't think about them as valid human beings. And that's what makes us think that they need fixing without even asking them.
Yeah, that sucks. I hate that.
And one thing I've learned, because I went to school for sight impaired kids. I wasn't sight impaired myself, but it was basically an integration mixed school for, yes, sight impaired and not sight impaired people. And I learned basically the hard way that they just are the same as me. And having had that experience from an early age, I never even think of treating anyone differently just because they have something or another.
Cool. It's been so long. No, not long. I feel like basically what I'm trying to say is I've forgotten whose question this was originally. I feel like we've gone touched on so many different topics. I've completely forgotten who we were meant to be helping. But whoever asked the question originally, I hope that helped. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask them in chat, or here. Otherwise, let's move on. But I feel like we covered some really good stuff, talking about disability and fantasy and where that line is in whether it's right to cure someone. It's always an interesting topic, and I feel like people often have a lot of differing views on what's the right way to do it. And whenever anyone asks, I never know either. Yeah, defective is not the word you should use for yourself. Different is good. Disabled is also good. Disabled is not a bad word.
I am so sorry if I triggered anyone with that word, but it was in context of the quote that the world makes you feel defective, but then you realize you're just fine.
Yeah, the world is very good at
No,
making you feel
it's
like you're
okay.
being odd out and making you feel bad for being different.
I was gonna say that I think our job as writers is to like change that and being able to portray people who are disabled like us are different, but nonetheless we still are capable of going through the same things as everybody and achieving our goals like everybody.
Yeah.
Also,
All right
I
then.
have to say, I in my D&D group, and I know I keep coming back to that. One of the characters, the player characters, is actually physically disabled. He wears leg braces. He is the smartest guy in my campaign. He is the brains of the operation. He called dibs on the singular brain cell that all of those bozos share. And I couldn't be more thankful for him. Mwah. And he's still disabled. He plays a disabled person very well.
So I have another question. So have you guys ever read Batman the Killing Joke? Or sorry, watch?
Can somebody call me back? I haven't seen it yet, and I don't want spoilers. I'll be back after.
I
you're
am
done.
so sorry because
No,
I
it's
was
okay.
just
It's okay.
gonna
It's okay.
ask about a character and it's a big spoiler, so I don't know what to say.
Okay, go do that. I'll be back when you finish.
Okay.
Oh my god, no, she left.
It's good. It's good. You're good. Go on. What did you want
So,
to?
okay.
I've not seen it, but I probably won't see it.
Oh, okay. So there is a character who is Batman's I could say like a helper, and she becomes disabled because the Joker like basically hurts her, and he makes her disabled. So afterwards, the character she turns completely from being Batgirl to being this other superhero, and then her whole role is to be the brains of the operation, and she became like a computer tech, and she's the one who controls everything, character's position. So there is this comic book called The Wayne Family, and I was just wondering if that will be considered accurate representation. Since I mean, at least I liked her character and I liked everything that showed about her. But I was just wondering what do you guys think about it? Maybe read it any other time or probably for the next session. But I think it's really great. That's it.
Okay. Has anyone seen that?
I have.
Me too.
All right. Either of you have any thoughts on it?
If anybody else wants to go first, go ahead.
I remember reading it and just thinking, like sympathy or like feeling bad for, because like Batgirl was fighting the Joker, or no, so it's Batgirl, right? And I think
Yes,
Joker,
background.
yeah, where she lives, and I think he breaks in and then shoots her in the spine. I think that's what it is, and she loses her
Yeah.
ability. And I remember feeling bad. It's like just because she goes from being Batgirl to this very like sympathetic, or not sympathetic, that's the wrong word. So basically, I guess losing her power, I don't know, become powerless, I guess. But I think it is cool that after that point, she does become like, the person in the chair, with all the monitors.
Oracle, yes.
But actually, yeah, I don't know how I feel. Like I don't know about people who really like the character of Batgirl and wish she was still around, like fighting alongside like Robin and Batman. So I'm not sure. But I like that, after the events, she doesn't just give up or retire. That she still's like, no, I still want to do this stuff. I still want to fight the Joker. I still want to fight. And she does it in the best way she could. But yeah, Shadow, you had a point?
I do. So Bitter Bun. I think I know. Were you talking about the comics on Webtoons, Wayne Family?
Yeah, the Wayne family. She shows
Oh,
up multiple times being the brains of the operation, helping everybody, which I
absolutely.
thought was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have a couple of points on that. So
It's
if you look in one of the panels of one of the episodes, it actually shows a lot of assistant tools for her, like the shower chair, bars along the sides of the toilet, that sort of thing. So it shows all of the things that a normal disabled person in a wheelchair would use just to live their everyday lives. And then it also kind of delves into her feelings of insecurity because she's not able to do what she was before, that she feels like she's not doing enough and is driving herself to not just burnout, but I want to say to collapse because she's pushing herself so hard.
well, thank you for pointing that out. I might just reread it and like catch those kind of things. That's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, I actually cottoned onto it because of the comments in the section underneath the webtoons. I always look at it on my mobile, so you may want to check out the comment sections too, because some of them are really point on.
So, this is the first time we're using this. If anyone is interested to give a quick reading.
Oh, thank you. I kind of want to show it, but I don't think I would be allowed, so I will not. But yeah, go ahead and use that link if you'd like to read it later. Cool. Do you want to put it on the floor again? Oh, Eden, you came back. I was just about to message you. Yeah, done.
I've been stalking you a little bit from the uh
From YouTube.
from YouTube. Yes,
Cool.
I swear I can word sometimes.
Yes, do the words. Words are cool. They're weird, but they're cool.
They're hard and doors are complicated.
Yes, they are. That is why we are here, to gather together and help each other through this mess. Let's open the floor again to any questions, comments, any reviews that you've seen with disabled characters, anything like that. If not, we will continue our reading of Wheels Come Off, which is a screenplay we've been reading for a few weeks now, and we're still far from finishing.
Is that the one with the robot?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
I forgot to make a note of where we left off last time. So, good luck to me figuring it out. What's the noise I can hear? Oh, okay. I can hear someone's background noise. I thought it was me echoing.
I can check on YouTube where we left off.
Yeah, can you do that, please? Because I'm trying to remember it, and I've got a bad memory.
Uh,
Not straightforward. Well, I don't know if this one is on there. Hang on. The latest one is not there. So, I shall do it like this.
Really? Isn't that the one that I've been in? Latest one?
Disability.
Or have you read more?
The latest
Did I
one,
miss?
disability and screenwriting, isn't in the playlist. I don't think.
Oh.
Oh wait, did we read it in? We didn't read it last week, did we?
No.
No, okay. Okay, so it is the latest one.
I'm gonna pop off for now because I need to put some food in my belly.
No worries.
And you guys, this has been very nice, and thank you for everything that you're doing. Lord's work, truly. See you some other time.
Thank you. I think we left off on page 41. So, let's do that. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted that. No, not that one. I promise I know what I'm doing. I might forget, but I do know what I'm doing. Alright, can everyone see the PDF?
Yeah, I can see it.
Cool. Anyone up for reading today?
I can.
I can as well.
Right. Go on,
that's
Shadow. If you want to go first.
We've got multiple parts, so I'm sure people will get a go. So, Manuela, we will give you, no, Shadow Striker, we will give you Manuela. We will give, who would like to be Tony? Our cute little robot who can fit in a backpack. I will give that to Willow. Who would like to take direction? I'm happy to, but I'd rather not. I can take that. And who's the other one? The other character is Carla. I can't remember her name. Carla, I shall give to... who was the other person? Bitterbun.
Which character is mine? Sorry, which character is mine?
Carla.
Okay, alright.
And I think we need one spare voice. You'll be other people.
I could do some. I could do more.
Okay, we'll give you the spare
so.
parts.
Okay.
That's how it was. Because depending on how far we read, if we read more than 10 pages, we get a couple of other characters. Alright, so your parts are now in the chat, and I think we left off from... We left off from this bit, I think. But I don't know how far we got. So let's read the scene before. Wait.
Now, is this like one that's been actually
it's not.
published, or is this from somebody who made it within the group?
So this is one that's been published. This is from a blacklist. I think from a couple of years ago.
Okay, cool.
Right, we read that one. We're going to start from Interior Bougie House number 2, Living Room Night. So, if everyone is ready, let's get started. Interior Bougie House number 2, Living Room Night. Manuela abruptly wakes up. She is panting, sweaty, and out of breath. She looks at Carla restlessly sleeping, and feels guilt for actually dozing off. Manuela extracts herself from Carla's embrace and taps Tony on the head, silently indicating he should follow her. Carla readjusts but doesn't wake up. Kitchen, continuous. Manuela unpacks her inventory, a quarter of a bottle of water, the bread, and the cans from the basement. Tony tinkers with every item, putting them in a perfect straight line. Manuela picks up the bread and analyzes it.
Last of the bread.
Are you sad? Last week you said it tasted like Satan's butthole. Is that not the case anymore?
After a while, my taste buds developed satanic butthole blindness.
Tony looks confused, trying to make sense of a statement.
Do you need me to scan your tongue for an infection?
Rolling her eyes. No, I can think it tastes like turds and still dislike the idea of not having any more.
Feces are not nutritious. They actually contain dangerous bacteria and indigestible cellulose. You should not be eating feces, Ella.
Or is Earth from Pluto?
Tony pauses, scans his data core for a beat.
That is not a straightforward answer. Planets in the solar system travel in elliptical orbits, meaning the distance between them is perpetually changing. At their furthest, when the two planets are on opposite sides of the sun, Pluto is approximately 4.67 billion miles from Earth. At their closest, they are only 2.66 billion miles apart.
Right. So he put all of that useless info in your head, but also made you incapable of getting an analogy. Great work, Dad. I don't actually know what poop tastes like, numbnuts.
Good. I was concerned. I did not think our rations were low enough that you needed to resort to that.
That'll be soon. How's your battery?
42%. I have power for 12 hours and 6 minutes, Ella.
I only have a small solar charger in my bag. I'll try to get full juice on it tomorrow, but you should run on battery saver mode until I can figure something else out.
Battery saver mode activated. Limited functions available.
Sorry, bud. I'll get you charged soon, okay?
Okay, Ella.
Thoughts about the gash on her head?
It does not seem life-threatening, but it requires attention.
Pull the map up.
A holographic map materializes between them.
Show me where we are.
A blinking dot appears on the map.
Show me Dad's house and his office.
Two blinking dots in separate directions appear on the map. They're very far away.
How far are we from each?
Current distance to Cortex Robotics is 69.3 miles. Current distance to the 12 July Street residential address is 67.6 miles.
How far are they from each other?
Distance between both is 8.3 miles.
Scanning the map. What's out there? We have to find a way to move her tomorrow.
Soundtrack, The Art of Losing by American Hi-Fi. Interior, bougie house number 2, living room, morning. Fantasy. Manuela and Carla try things that could... I've read this already. We've read this entire bit. I'm going to skip down a bit. I'm really sorry. Where were we? New stuff ahead. Okay, we're going to skip down a bit of a page.
No worries.
To that bit. Exterior street, day. Tony is excited not to be stuck in the bag. Carla looks annoyed. She is sharing tight quarters with him. The charger soaks up sun.
What's first on the list?
Exterior street, later.
Water.
They look for receptacles. She finds a broken computer chair with intact armrests, takes them, and puts them in the cart.
What else?
Interior Random House Kitchen Day.
Cooking and eating utensils.
They grab forks, spoons, and plates. Carla watches through a window from the yard. Manuela grabs a table with some sturdy wheels. She tips it over, removes the wheels, and takes them. Exterior apartment building day. Manuela pushes the cart to a hidden corner and throws a tarp over it, covering Carla and Tony. She runs inside.
What's next?
Interior apartment building afternoon.
A change of clothes. Or two.
Manuela grabs the best of what's there and leaves the rest.
We also need stuff for your head.
Manuela searches, digging for any medical supplies.
My head is fine, Manny.
Sure it is.
Whoever lived here was into crafts. They have adhesives and other bits Manuela considers useful. She grabs it all. Exterior street, afternoon. All three are crammed into the tarp-covered cart. That's now sitting inconspicuously at the edge of an alley. They peek through a hole. Cars are parked far away. A limping Eric and Pussy drag a father and son, 15, out of the house. We're going to take a quick break, just while we assign these parts. Reach key to take son, please. Can we have... Who wants to take Eric?
San and Eric?
Yeah, so, Michikita, you take... trying to work out who to take. Michikita, you take Sun and Wheeler.
Okay.
Winnow, you take Father. And Bitter Bun, take Eric, please.
Alright.
Thank you. Alright, let's continue. Exterior street afternoon. All three are crammed into... Yeah, but did I read that? I'm getting mad. I'm sorry. They peek through a hole. Cars are parked far away. A limping Eric and Posse drag a father 40 and son 15 out of the house.
We're hungry and passing through. It was just there. We didn't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It won't happen.
Eric calmly
Dad.
whistles and hits the father over the head with his mace club. He hits him again and it cracks the man's skin open. He starts to bleed when almost instantly passes out.
Dad.
They throw the unconscious bleeding man in the car, then push his son after him. Manuela and the boy make eye contact.
What you want to do with them?
Put the old man on the truck. Parade him around for a bit, then take him to the morgue. He'll decide if it'll cost him one or both hands. Take the boy to Hillsborough. They need bodies for patrol and supply runs.
Marina grunts, nods, and jumps into the car with her father and son. Eric gets into his car alone. Angle. Eric looks down at his missing fingers. Long beat.
Chop a few fingers off first, so he don't forget what thieving gets you.
The boy becomes visibly panicked. Manuela tries to stand. Carla pulls her down, stopping her. Exterior street, sunset. Manuela pushes a cart down the street. They're both quiet, but obviously upset by what happened.
We could have helped.
Yeah, the two of us, world-class fighters, taking on 5 guys. That won't go dandy.
I could have helped them.
We didn't make it this far by butting into shit that has nothing to do with us.
Manuela huffs. They puff, but they walk past a mini mart. Manuela pushes Carla to the side of the building.
Hey, where are?
Manuela unceremoniously throws the tarp over the cart, and Carla's head then moves towards the door.
We need something to start a fire.
Be careful.
Manuela walks away without responding. Interior mini-mart sunset. It's pillaged, but she has a trick after years of scavenging. She lies on the floor at the top of the aisles and looks under each row. It never fails. Her haul? 2 lighters, gum, 2 sardine cans, instant mashed potatoes, pens, and a handful of band-aids. Her eyes light up at the penultimate shelf. She runs towards the end of the aisle and dives to the ground and stretches her arm as far as it will go. She struggles, then finally grabs it. A notebook. She's ecstatic, then opens it. It's infested with silverfish. They're eating the pages. She throws it and storms out. Exterior mini-mart sunset. Manuela has moved the tarp aside and looks around, keeping watch for wheelers. Manuela exits the mart, looking sullen.
Nothing?
Manuela holds up the lighters. She flicks one alive.
People never look under the shelves.
The flame is almost immediately extinguished by a flat drop of water. Manuela looks up and another drop hits her face. Then the sky opens up. Manuela rushes to the cart and runs off. Exterior abandoned house, night. Rain pours down. Carla and Tony sit under the tarp. Manuela, now soaked to the bone, pushes them into a rundown house. Once the cart is inside, Manuela grabs a handful of the receptacles they've collected, runs to the backyard and lines them up. She leaves them to fill up before she darts inside. Carla begins to dry Tony off. Tony makes a happy whir.
Don't get used to it, Optimus.
Interior abandoned house, later. Rain falls. The fireplace is lit. Manuela rips books to keep it alive. A mattress was pushed near the fire. Carla lies on it. Manuela hears one of the wheeler cars with speakers bolted to the roof approaching. Her and Tony jump to finish blocking the windows and stop any light from seeping through. Exterior street, night. The wheeler driver holds a microphone and speaks. Wheeler, can you take that, please?
Sorry, what was that?
Who played Wheeler? Can the person who played Wheeler
Be
play that?
Chiquita.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read the name. Okay, now I have it. Okay.
Yashua, something like that.
Yeah. Yashua said, cut off the hands of the thief by way of example. We have things to make an example of. We are looking for the thieves called Sarah Folds.
Interior abandoned house, as before. Manuela throws a final blanket over the living room window and returns to her spot by the fire.
This thief called Benjamin Rossum. The pair of mother and daughter thieves. The mother is in a wheelchair. The thief with the missing
My dear, Iris was convinced it never amounted to much and looked at us now. Number 3 on the Apocalypse Most Wanted. Wish she was here to see that.
Manuela chuckles and throws the book into the fire.
I was thinking.
Never. Not one fucking time has the phrase, I was thinking, followed by pause being a good thing with you.
Are you gonna let me talk without cutting me off?
Depends on how reckless it is.
I was thinking we could go to Dad. He's
No,
between the office and the house. He's bound to have everything we need. I could also get new batteries for Tan and...
we're not doing that.
But he...
I already gave you my answer.
Good thing I'm pushing then.
Manuela throws the book into the fire and stokes it petulantly. Carla sulks, quietly hating the mere suggestion. Exterior sidewalk day. Manuela and Carla bicker as they walk.
I'm the adult. I make the decisions.
Just because you were born before me, it doesn't mean you're always right.
Actually, yeah, that's exactly what it means, you shitbird.
Bull poop.
They walk past the empty parking lot of a department store. Manuela turns into the parking lot.
Where are
Where
you going?
there might be good stuff in there.
No. We agreed we're going to check the neighborhood down that way.
Did anyone say anything?
Stop being a huge brat.
Tony, do you hear something?
Carla is saying she would prefer it if we went to the neighborhood. 0.21 miles south instead.
What Cyborg said.
Why do I even try with you?
Claudia Manuela, turn around.
Kind of bangs the sides of the car in protest, clearly frustrated that she has no control in where she's taken.
You know, I hate it when you full name me.
Turn this fucking thing around.
Manuela?
Read it.
I think we're
Who's
in the
name
interior.
Manuela?
A department store.
Yeah.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
We can hear you. It's just we're at the interior department store now.
Yeah.
Do you hear Joe?
Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened. I said everything suddenly went quiet. I don't know what happened. Where are we?
In the interior department store.
Okay, sorry. The speaker's cut off completely. Okay. Interior department store day. Manuela wonders I was alone. Most of it is useless, but she grabs assorted bits. A screwdriver, sponges, and hair ties. She finds 2 notebooks and is thrilled. The excitement is short-lived. Someone is approaching. Manuela digs into her pocket for the knife and holds it firmly while crouching behind a shelf. They move closer, closer, even closer. She tenses up. They're on the other side of the shelf now. Whoever was playing man, can you take that, please?
Hi? Or was it Manila? Sorry, I got a little bit lost.
Ari.
Harry?
Manuela peeks from behind the shelf and sees Andrew Medler. 30, white, has Down syndrome, the friendliest and warmest ball of pure sunshine, looking down and waiting for an answer. He's lost. Manuela waits for just a second before she stands. She hides the knife behind her back just in case.
Hey.
Waves and smiles. Hi.
You don't need to read the parentheticals, so you don't need to read this bit. Just read the dialogue.
What are you doing here?
I'm Andrew. What's your name?
Manuela, are you here alone?
No, I'm with my friends.
Where are your friends?
I lost them.
Do you need help finding them?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's get you back with them.
They walk. Kearney, 19, deaf, has a calming presence to her, taps Andrew's shoulder. Andrew hugs her. Who should take that?
I'll go with her.
Cool.
Where did you go?
Lost. This is my friend Manuela. She helped me find you. This is Court. She's deaf, but can read your lips.
Hi, my mom is waiting for me, so I have to go, but...
With no warning, Manuela's feet are swiped. She falls on her back, and her knife goes flying out of her hand. She grunts when she slams onto the ground. The end of the cane that was used to knock her down is forcefully pressed on her neck. Who the hell are you? Manuela looks up to find Zach's guard, mid-20s, has more cerebral palsy and walks with a cane. Also happens to be the most handsome guy in any room, fiercely staring down at her.
Tell him.
Let's see. Does anyone is anyone else here wanting to read? Dan, are you able to read?
I'll take somebody else.
Okay, I just want to see if anyone else can read, just to try and even it out a bit for us. The best teddy bear, are you able to
Sorry.
read?
You mean directions?
No, I mean the other characters. It seems like there's going to be a lot of new
Sex.
characters now.
Okay.
Do you want to read a teddy bear?
I don't think so. Alright, that's fine. Oh, hi Amanda. Are you up for reading?
Oh, are you guys reading something right now?
We are,
Let's see.
yeah.
You're just
and
starting?
we've just got a load of new characters coming.
Oh, you know what? Because I'm gonna have to drop off a little bit before fantasy. I'll probably just listen. Sorry about that, but
It's alright, I feel like we're only going to read for 20 minutes or so.
okay. Let me see. Have you already cast everybody or most people?
Most people, yeah. So we've been reading for a while. And we're
Okay.
just...
I think I'll just listen for now. That's okay.
Alright. That's cool.
I can read the new characters that pops up.
Alright, thank you. In that case, Manuela, whenever you're ready.
Okay. I was helping him.
Ramona Francis, mid-20s, blind and uses a white cane, but moves around the room with the confidence of any seeing person. And Trey Brenner, 19, has a missing or incomplete limb, is effortlessly funny, hover around.
He's a friend.
Zach turns without taking the cane off Manuela's neck.
You can't wander off like that, pal. Ari is going crazy.
As if on cue, Ari Medler, 18, talks fast, feels deep, fully open to the world, turns a corner and runs to hug Andrew.
I'm going to tie you to my hand if you keep doing this.
Ari breaks free from the hug and Manuela is able to properly look at her. Time both stops and speeds up at the same time. Soundtrack, Things I'll Never Say by Avril Lavigne. I said that wrong. The Interior Department Store Day. Fantasy. Over the top live flashes. All happening inside the store. Manuela and Ari's first date in the liquor aisle. Manuela and Ari's first kiss in the romance book section. Manuela proposing to Ari on the jewelry aisle. A frozen aisle wedding. Carla walks Manuela down the aisle. Manuela and Carla have their mother-daughter dance. Her first apartment, aka the French showcase section. Manuela and Ari with one baby. Manuela and Ari with two babies. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
The kids' school is in the supplies aisle. Carla teaches. Manuela as middle-aged woman. Manuela and her family have a funeral for Carla. Manuela and Ari as old women. The kids, Ari and Andrew, holding a funeral for Manuela. Andrew... Oh no, sorry, that's not me.
Thank you, Manuela. Manuela?
Manuela shoots up in her coffin. Interior, department store, as before. Ari, Andrew, Zach, Ramona, Trey, and Connor all stare down.
Manuela. Come on. He says she's fine.
When Zach doesn't do it willingly, Ari pushes the cane and extends her hand to help. Manuela snaps out of it, but can't take her eyes off Ari. Two simultaneous conversations happen.
Sorry, what were you saying?
What's your deal? Thank you for getting me back to my friends. Ari, it's on her Medusa shit again, enchanting everyone who lays eyes on her.
Oh yeah, no problem. Totally. I should get going.
Cora extends the knife. Manuela takes it and turns.
Thanks. Really. Most folk who left him or worse. Hurt him.
No sweat. It was nothing. I just walked with him for a few aisles.
Still, means a lot.
Manuela smiles and nods and then turns again.
Are you alone?
I'm with my mom. I should get back.
It's not much, but if you guys need a place to crash tonight, you can stay with us. Sex. No. Order some food. I think we can spare a meal. Definitely no. As a thank you, he's a bit of an ass, but Sax has mastered the art of canned beans. Let me tell you, it's great. He has. It's his secret talent.
Sax yanks Ari aside for an inaudible but clearly heated conversation. They exchange in firm words.
His secret is to burn them to ash the way no one can complain about the metal's taste.
Thanks, though.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Manuela walks away but thinks, stops, and pivots.
Actually, do you guys have any med supplies? My mom, she got hurt.
Exterior, department store loading dock day. Manuela removes the top, Carla lies on some cushions in the main storage part of a car, bickering with Tony. She looks up to find Manuela and 6 strangers staring down at her.
Explain?
I met them inside. They have alcohol and bandages at their camp and they're letting us have some.
That won't be necessary. Thank you.
What? Can you just give us a second?
Sure.
Ari pulls everyone away, giving Manuela and Carla privacy.
They are strangers.
They're harmless.
The group has their own conversation. It's inaudible, but Sax is obviously mirroring all of Carla's talking points.
We're not going to wherever with people we never met.
They're not going to hurt us. Besides, that thing, it needs cleaning. They're offering some of their med supplies. We're going.
I thought you wanted to go to the Anthony's.
Oh, now you want to go to Dad's?
Shit idea, but better than going with who knows who.
We're going to Dad's anyway. This is just a necessary detour.
Manuela.
Carla, they're giving us a place to crash and food too. We are not passing that up.
We don't need their stuff. We have food and we can find a place.
Fudge. It can't just always be us. Being around other people besides you and this piece of junk for a night would be nice.
Tony looks down and scans himself for any damage he may have missed. Nothing. He's confused. He is not junk.
No junk detected.
Doesn't always have to be your way.
Manuela storms off in a huff. Ari and the group watch her. Exterior department store day. Manuela angry cries and kicks a can. Andrew pushes a cart. The group follows. Manuela dries her tears, trying to hide them.
Your mom said you could come with us. It would be like a sleepover.
Andrew pushes further. Manuela stays put. Carla looks back.
You coming or what?
Manuela jogs to catch up to them. A faint smile appears right before falls in step with Ari. Interior abandoned church sunset. Light cuts through the multicolored stained glass. Ari pushes the massive wooden doors to reveal their temporary setup. Manuela, Carla, and Tony look around in wonder as the coloured rays of light fill the room in a mesmerizing way.
Holy fucking shit.
Think you're allowed to say that in here.
Harry laughs quietly. Interior abandoned church nights. They've built a fire inside the holy waters. Stoop. Sax moves around the fire, cooking dinner with Harry and Ramona's help. Carla sits on the front pew. A piece of bandage covers her now clean wound. Andrew, Trey, and Corinne small talk with her. Manuela sits on one of the back pews, awkwardly looking on in silence. She plugs Tony into charge. He winds down to sleep mode. She hasn't been around anyone but Carla since she was 8. Her social skills are atrophied. Zach serves plates. He leaves 2 with significantly less. Harry digs into a pot and leaves out the ones he singled out. Harry walks with 3 plates in her hand. She hands one off to Carla and heads towards Manuela. She offers the food.
Chef special. Charcoal beans.
Manuela laughs, a little too hard. She reels it back in ineptly. Harry sits next to her and begins eating.
Andy likes her. He likes everyone, but it's been a while since I've seen him excited to talk to another person. I think he's sick of us.
Manuela and Harry look at Carla and Andrew interacting.
He can keep her.
You guys have been along
Since the beginning.
Just the 2 of you?
And Tony.
Why doesn't Carla like him? Never seen anyone beef with Aunt Tony before.
She doesn't not like him. Just a thing about my dad.
What happened with your dad?
Manuela shrugs. Clearly a touchy subject. Harry changes it.
We've been together since the beginning too. Well, there was a few more, but we were all at summer camp.
You weren't with your family when it happened?
Every year, my parents will send Andy off to camp with other special kids like him. I turned 10 that year, and for my birthday, I begged him to let me go to the camp too. It always sucks when he was gone, and I was hell-bent on making sure that summer wasn't terrible. I asked him to wore them down. Somehow, both my parents and the camp agreed. It was just me and 70 other incredible kids with disabilities. It was the best summer camp ever. Then everything went down and our parents never came. I'm guessing they didn't make it. They will never abandon us like that, but we don't know. Most kids got picked up. Counselors got picked up or bailed. The camp director and 2 of the counselors stayed, hoping our families will come. That never happened. We made do for 2 years. Victoria, the camp director, she was amazing. She basically became our mom, but she got real sick one day. Jens and Tootie, the counselors, told us they go and try to find help for medicine. They never came back. Victoria died. We waited for months for them to show up. We ran out of food, so we had to leave. We found their bodies a few miles down the main road. They've been shot. They walked maybe half an hour before they died. It's been just us since then. We keep each other alive.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's been a long time.
It has.
It's my part, sorry. Manuela catches Sax and
It's okay.
Ramona sharing a kiss by the fire. She blushes, embarrassed that she intruded on their moment.
They do it a lot. You get used to it.
Are they together?
Been a thing since camp. Tree and Corey got together 2 years ago. Basically, me and Andy have been third wheeling for people that are crazy in love. If the end of the world doesn't make you feel lonely, that definitely will.
They both laugh.
He's not as bad as he's making himself look. He's just protective.
That's fine. I get it.
They sit in silence for a long beat. It's clear Manuela wants to speak more, but she doesn't know how.
I don't know where you're headed, but we're walking to Rose Lake. Corey's family had a big cabin there. She thinks she can get us to it. The lake is right there, so no worrying about water, and I figure hunting in the woods should be easy enough. Not that I ever done it, but I'm guessing. It's a long way, but you could come. Don't think anyone will mind.
We can't. No, that's not me, sorry. I'm really sorry.
We can't. We have to get to my dad's office. I'm trying to build my mom a new wheelchair. Last one got busted.
You think your dad can help?
My dad's an engineer. Was an engineer. I don't know. Haven't seen him since everything happened either. We waited for him to come too. For weeks. We waited. Never did. Our neighborhood got bad and we had to leave. I don't know how she got us out of there. I was only 8. Couldn't even look over the chair to push it properly. I had to stand on the tipping levers and get momentum like you do with the skateboard, or Tony I pulled by the front rigging. Anyway, my dad, he built robots. He's the one who built Tony. That's why my mom... Yeah. If anyone has all the stuff I need to make a new wheelchair, it's him. And
She loves side of it.
Manuela, your mom is funny.
she is, isn't she?
Yes, she said you have music.
Some. We didn't have time to copy much at all. Just part of one of my grandma's high school playlists. Been listening to the same 37 songs for 8 years. Doesn't have much diversity, but they don't suck.
Play some music. We haven't heard music in a long time.
Really?
Ari nods and ums while taking a bite of food.
I can't solve many problems, but I can solve that one. Tony, speaker mode and shuffle grandma's playlist.
Soundtrack. The Agaro Bajande by Gilberto Santa Rosa. Andrew, Zach, Ramona, and Trey jump to their feet and start to dance. Ari, Manuela, and Carla watch and smile.
This is fun. What is it?
Salsa. My mom's mom was Dominican.
That's cool. Do you speak Spanish?
Decent amount. Not as much as I'd like. Grandma only spoke to me in Spanish. She was teaching me more, but we never saw her after all that happened either. We went to her house once we had to leave our place. We hung around for days waiting to see if she'd come back, but nothing. I've tried to hold on to most of what she taught me.
I don't speak anything but English.
I could teach you. If you want.
That'd be fun. Maybe you could come to late after you do what you need to do down here.
Maybe. I can talk to my mom about it.
Andrew walks up to the girls and forces them to dance. They don't resist. Carla watches Manuela from a pew while also vibing to the music. No one has a care in the world tonight. Interior abandoned church night. Okay, we'll read just one thing. Interior abandoned church night. Everyone is scattered, sleeping in separate pews. Manuela and a sleeping Carla are in the same row. Tony charges in the corner. Manuela stares at the light pouring through the glass. Her face shines with a smile, too smitten to sleep. Manuela tenses up when she hears wheeler cars approach. Headlights light up the stained glass as they drive by. Manuela can hear the wheelers screaming animalistically and banging against the metal of the cars. All cars drive past the church, and the city is plunged into silence again. Manuela, more awake and alert than before, pulls out one of the department store notebooks from her bag, along with a pen. She finds a spot with the most light and starts writing. Angle. Manuela writes Captain Manuela Cortez and Lieutenant Ari. She pauses, trying to figure out her last name. Ari Medler starts to stabilize the sinking submarine. They. And we will stop there for today. Thank you very much, everyone, for reading. I shall give coins out on the other server, WordCamp. But what do you guys think?
It was interesting. I liked all the different representation.
Yeah, I was meant to read this before we read it today, but that was a really pleasant surprise. And all the different kinds of disabilities as well. What about the format? What do people think? Does anyone have any different thoughts from the last time you've read it?
I think it's like I'm enjoying the characters, but I'm still not understanding like so far. I guess this is the second time that I have been here to read this, and I don't see them having any goals. It just feels like they're going from place to place, meeting lots of other characters. This has been the most interesting one with all of these different characters, and we're actually getting a bit more depth. I like that. But it doesn't feel like they are doing anything. I don't understand anything more about this world.
Yeah. Probably because we're seeing it like in midway. But I didn't saw like I saw a lot of description of like what the main characters were doing and a lot of description of the places they were. But I didn't really see like any description about the characters like going through or living with their disability, you know, aside from the each character sorry. Aside from the deaf character who was talking in sign language, and it's probably just a little mention that her mom was having a little bit of issue with the wheelchair. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it does sound like it does slightly remind me of Mice and Men, which is one of the worst books I've ever read because it is so unbelievably slow. But it did have a sudden end. So I think this might be a bit of a story like that. It is slightly quicker than of Mice and Men. And it is better because like I think this is the best section we've read because suddenly we're meeting more people and we've got a bit more conflict. We had let's go up a bit. I don't remember which character it was because we suddenly had 6 characters all come in at once. I feel like it'd be quite hard to keep track of everyone now, if everyone's going to be there throughout the whole story. But try and find a bit I want. Sax. It says it's inaudible, but Sax is obviously mirroring all of Kyla's talking points. So it seems like there's going to be a bit of tension and conflict between Sax and the rest of the group, who doesn't seem to want Carla and Manuela there. And I feel like that might come up a bit later. Lenny, yes, that is one of the characters in Of Mice and Men. But yeah, it's picked up speed, and now I want to know what happens.
Yeah, I wish all these characters had met earlier. I want to spend more time with them, and I don't really. They're not really like individuals. I do find it, I don't know, interesting, or not in a good way, more of that each of them have a very different disability that is completely unique from the others, like rather than having like two blind people who got together or something like that. This peculiar. Anyway, I want to spend more time with them and get to know them as individuals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got that the beginning was a little bit slow. Like we got these moments, like when they were cutting the hands of the thief. That was like I guess it was okay, but like the rest felt extremely slow. Um, I think they could have cut the part, like an entire page, just cutting the part where the mom fell on somewhere and she got like trapped and she went to look for something and then she opened the trap and then they just kept going. Like I feel that didn't add anything up. Like it could be as easy as to just like, I don't know, the chair, it's already half broken, it's not functioning, so like she fell and she broke her head, and that isn't enough excuse for her to approach this group of strangers, you know? Like we have too much time, just like the mom and the girl like fighting each other or like contradicting each other, which I guess is okay. It builds how the relationship is, but I think um we already like throughout the first interaction they both have, we already got a grasp of what their relationship is, and I think the relationship will be even more um they will they will be better explored. Meanwhile, they are with this group, you know? It's like she's with a group, she's becoming more free, and then she has this issue with her mother that is increasing because she doesn't like this group or she doesn't like to be with the strangers, whatever. Um, and it's also sad that now we get to not get these characters probably because it is told that they're going to go to the office and then like who knows when they're going to get back together. So like I don't know.
I got something. So, looking at the dialogue and the reactions of people, I liked how there was obviously the interpersonal relationships and that sort of thing. The beginning did start really slow, but you can obviously see where Dax and the mom, Carla, are coming from. They're trying to keep the entire group safe. So naturally, they would be suspicious of other people, and that's what's driving their action. I think I gotta go to the fantasy group here, so I'm probably gonna hop off.
Yeah, I mean, I think we at the end anyway. Thank you all very much for coming. We'll be on Script Camp next week and looking at any questions that people have. And if no one has anything, we'll continue reading. Thank you. Yeah, it's Disability Pride Month. I was meant to say that last week, but July is Disability Pride Month, and so maybe we will have discussions relating to that. But yeah, thank you all very much for coming. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.